I've always kind of like, since I was young, I've always been the type of person that's like, I can't stick to rules. I don't think I'll be a good employee.
It makes me think of the saying that's like, be careful who you share good news with.
A lot of days I am lazy and I don't want to do things. And I think that's a big part of being human. You know, we can't be always on all the time 24/7.
Welcome back to another episode of Little Lessons from Big Hearts. I am actually so excited for you to have this episode, and I know I say this every time, but today I'm with Sarah, who co-founded Aguamiel, a coffee shop in Covent Garden with her boyfriend. And I actually reached out to Sarah on Instagram because I was thinking of another guest, and I record in different coffee shops. But her story was so inspiring and really, really resonated with me that I was like, we need to get Sarah on this podcast. We're going to talk about what it's like founding a coffee shop. And I know that you might be listening being like, I want to found a coffee shop too. So you're going to hear what it's like founding a location, what it's like working with your partner, what it's like being an introvert in business as well. So if you're an introvert, you're definitely going to resonate with this. We can't get everything perfect. That's okay. Which means that actually across the road, there's a big hotel being built in Covent Garden. So you may hear a little bit of noise here and there, but you know, what can we do? Hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I'm good, very good. Slightly nervous, but I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So you founded Aguamiel.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I founded Aguamiel with my boyfriend. We were both kind of working in corporate jobs after graduating from business school. Unluckily during COVID, so we've kind of decided to go in corporate for now. And then it kind of got to a point where we thought, okay, that's enough is enough. Let's we're still young. Let's go and start a business and let's try and see what happens.
And it's a Mexican churros shop.
Exactly, Mexican churreria. We serve delicious churros and single origin coffee. So for all those coffee fanatics out there, come and try our coffee.
And starting a coffee shop is quite like brave and different. I know it's on a lot of people's like bucket list. Have you always had an entrepreneurial spirit, or did that come later?
Yeah, I think so. I've always kind of like, since I was young, I've always been the type of person that's like, I can't stick to rules. I don't think I'll be a good employee. So I've always wanted to do my own things, start a small business, whether that's me kind of selling snacks during school or kind of just doing like small things while I was in uni.
Do you have like a story or a moment when you were younger and you were like, oh, maybe that's a little bit of like an entrepreneur in me? I just have this very funny story of me and my siblings when I was younger, and then someone to me was like, you clearly were an entrepreneur growing up. And I was like, wait, that's actually true. So there was a time when I think I was like 13. I have 3 siblings. The first one is like 3 years younger than me and the other one's 5. So they were like really young. And my room was like off limits, like nobody could come into my room. I was like, no, get out. And then there was a time where I was like, I kind of want like a little bit more pocket money. Let me do a yard sale in my room and like sell a few things to my siblings. So it put like a pen, a little like car, like little things that I had that I knew they wanted, and for like 10 cents, like €1, like all of that, because I grew up in France. And then I gave them both a basket, and I was like, open house, like, let's go. And they were so excited, and they were like, whoa, we get to go into this like a room in the store. They had the best day. We still talk about it to this day.
That's so sweet.
And they like picked their little things. I made like a little receipt. And I was just like, yes, I won like €2. At the end, I was like, whoa, like I can buy sweets. But then my siblings being so excited went to my parents being like, and he's just sold us her stuff. And my parents like, you don't take money from your siblings. This is bad.
Return the €2.
Yeah, give back the €2 and also they get to keep the stuff. But it's like a funny story because like, I guess from a young age, I'm like, how can I like do this?
Yeah, that's actually quite funny. Similar to mine, actually. So
really? Okay.
When I was in primary school, I went to a boarding school. So you can't really, the only thing you can eat is from the school canteen. So I had some friends who weren't boarders, so they would go home every night. And we reached an agreement where kind of they would come to school with some snacks, some ice lollies, some different like, you know, little snacks in their bags. and we'll distribute it in our class and with other classes, and I'll go and sell them to other classmates. And that's how we made kind of like our first, I don't know, like 10 pounds. I don't know. But it was mainly just like, you know, to make like keep my friends entertained so that we can keep bringing snacks into school for me mainly. Yeah.
Clearly still in the food business.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have known?
And so you grew up in England?
Yeah. So actually, no. I was born in China.
Okay.
I moved to UK when I was around 10. So I started kind of secondary school here. Kind of went up my way to university, and now I'm in my mid-20s. So scary.
A question that I get asked quite a bit, because I'm French Norwegian, is like, what do you feel? Like, do you feel Chinese? Do you feel English?
That's a very good question. A lot of people ask me that, and I would say I don't really identify as either. I don't feel British because I don't look British, and I don't identify really as Chinese because my Chinese skills are kind of, you know, losing my Chinese skills. I still speak, but it's not really at the same level as my English. And also culturally, you know, I'm kind of like have you ever heard of something like a third culture kid, right? So I've kind of grown up in different cultures, different backgrounds. So I feel more relatable to those who may have grown up going to international school or kind of also...
That's me.
Exactly, right?
So I relate.
Yeah. And especially, you know, when I'm in groups or when I was in uni, I would go up to Chinese students who are clearly speaking Chinese, and I go up to them and say, oh, hi, blah, blah, and something in Chinese. They're like, oh my God, you speak Chinese. So I don't really feel like I fit into either, but... I guess that's the beauty of life nowadays.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I feel very international. And if being like half-half, when I'm with French people, I tend to feel more Norwegian.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm with Norwegian people, I clearly feel like French because I grew up in France. So it's like, it shifts.
Exactly.
I guess.
It's nice because you get to have more than one version of yourself. And you get to, you know, I'm not saying be a different type of person, but be a different you with different type of groups, and that's quite good, being flexible and choosing which way, how you want to show yourself, present yourself.
And what part of that you is like reflected in your business today?
Good question. Both. Mainly my Chinese side, because I am doing the numbers, I am doing the kind of accounting, the background work, so I need to be very, very picky with things. But when I'm out in the counter serving customers, I'm more, you know, outgoing, more kind of bubbly. So I just have to switch on my different sides depending on the situation. So
you founded and built Aguamiel with your partner. How did you do it? Because I think that story is so special.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, my boyfriend is Mexican. We went to Mexico to visit his family. And while I was there, I was super obsessed with churros. I went to different places almost every single day to get churros. And I'm pretty sure I gained some weight on that trip as well. But that's okay. All for another day. So while I was there, I thought, okay, how nice would it be to have the same experience in London? And I started looking on Google Maps, and there wasn't anything like it in London. So I thought, okay, this has to be a simple enough idea to kind of go through with compared to all my different ideas previously. So we came back here, it was January 2023, cold, freezing in London, me going to my 9-to-5 job. I kind of had a moment of realization where, you know, at the time I was 25, I'm 25, quarter through my life. I need to do something. I'm still young, I'm the youngest I am the youngest I will be at this point. And I have the most energy now compared to if I was going to be 30 or 35. So I said, look, let's, this is a viable business idea. Let's go for it. Let's see how we can bring it to life. Mm-hmm. So last year was a year of saving money, not going out. You know, I'm such a foodie. We used to go out kind of twice, 3 times a week to different restaurants, eating new foods. That kind of went out of the window when we decided to do this. So no extra spending, all the money goes to the fund of Aguamiel.
Wow.
And that was a tough year of kind of just working 9 to 5, working in the evenings to build this project, and also saving a lot of money. But it's easy when you don't have anywhere to go after work other than working on your project. So, all good.
And how did you like keep it going? How did you not like give in and you were like, actually, this is like so much effort, maybe it's not worth it? Like, how did you stick to pursuing your dreams? Because I think that's what makes it different. Yeah. The difference between someone who actually like is here now in their coffee shop and someone who is like still like trying. Thinking.
Okay, I think, look, everyone, you're on a different path compared to yourself. You're not really comparing yourself to others. But I think how to stay focused on your goal is that, you have one life, and if you don't do it, someone else will. And this is an easy enough idea for someone to replicate. And more so that, if once you have a goal in mind, especially for me, I'm the type of person that once I have a goal in mind, I'll give it my 150% to make sure that goal is achieved in a certain time frame. I don't really like to set a kind of time frame for myself, deadline, because it stresses me out. I can't work to deadline. But it's easy when you have a goal in mind, and what else would I be doing? Going out, drinking, eating with my friends, spending all my money, and then have to go back to my job. So okay, it's easy in my head. Okay, if I work really hard for this year, I save all my money, I don't go out to anything, I just build this business, I can have years, decades of enjoyment in my life later on, where I don't have to think about, okay, I need to ask my boss for time off to go on vacation. So I try to, instill that in my mind. Yeah.
And did you enjoy what you were doing before as your like corporate job?
It was enjoyable to some extent because, it's good to have a structure to your day. You see the same people every day. You kind of have like a somewhat of a support network because you have the same colleagues, you see the same people. But it gets to a point where you feel like, okay, I am working for someone else. I am working to build someone else's dream. This is not my dream. I'm still too young to be kind of stuck working, slaving away for someone else's dreams. So, I mean, it's good and bad. I guess most people that work in a corporate job, they can relate.
I love that, like, determination in you, and you're like, no, but it's so true. Also, like, you have one life, it's true. Yeah. But I think it's kind of scary to be like, whoa, like, am I happy in what I'm doing? Like, should I swap? But that's like where the power comes from, to be like, okay, actually, like, let me take my life back in charge and like do these different things.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful to grab your life and take it in the direction that you want it to go, because it's you have one life, that this is all the years you're going to have on this earth. If you are going to kind of live your life according to other people's rules, according to other people's kind of perspective on how you should live your life, then it's not really a life true to yourself. And I don't want to be 45, 50 or 60 years old looking back at my life and thinking, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I had done that. I'm the type of person that, okay, if I have a goal, or not even a goal, if I have a plan, I have a vision, whether it's, creative, business, or just for fun, I will go and do it, because I don't want to say no to myself. I want to live a life that's true to myself, and I do whatever I want to do.
I mean, amen to that. I completely agree. And also, like, I read something that was like, make your 80-year-old self proud, but also your 80-year-old self proud. And it's like, you've seen everything you've done until now and grown, but also like, where do you want to go? And then make sure that at 80, you feel like you've done everything you wanted to do.
80 is so very, very scary.
It's a long way. It's far away. And so once you kind of had the idea, you saved up, you had the money, how did you find the place? How did you choose Covent Garden?
Oh God, that is a very interesting story.
That is a story.
So I thought that, being in the food industry, especially, like us, very niche, we sell coffee, churros, and that's the only thing we do. It has to be in a location where, you know, it's one of the top 10 sightseeing spots in London. I thought it was going to be a very smooth sale. It's very easy. Surely I just pay the rent and you give me the keys and that's it, right? Yeah. We had a kind of square footage in mind, and a lot of locations are very big or very small. So we need to find the perfect ground. Then it was more about talking to the agents. Then once I found this place, reach out to the agent. I said, hey, I'm interested in this location. Can I place a viewing or, you know, go and have a look? And there was a lot of waiting around, because I guess to a lot of people that meet young women, they might think that I'm not serious. I am just, you know, wasting their time. So it was a lot of missed phone calls. My agent blocked me at some point because I don't know why.
It just went straight to voicemail.
Yeah, it just kept going to voicemail until I called him from a different number, and it didn't go to voicemail. So that's the moment I thought, okay, I've probably been blocked. But that's okay. Me and my determination got to him in the end. I said, look, I really want this place and I'm serious. Yeah. Can I place an offer? Yeah. And even until that point, he didn't take me seriously. Eventually, I found another agent. She is so lovely.
For the same space.
Exactly, for the same space. So I didn't need him anymore. No more missed calls, no more blocked phones. So I worked with this lady. She really believed us. She really believed in us from the get-go. She thought that our project was amazing. She put us in front of the landlords. We were able to present our idea, our business case to the landlord directly. And eventually we kind of got into the leasing process, and that was ages ago now.
Isn't that crazy how like one person could create like a roadblock, and then you have to be like, okay, like let me find another way, but it can be so demotivating.
Yeah.
What like advice do you have for someone who's maybe like in that block now?
I would say just don't give up. I always tell myself don't give up, because you know there are so many options out there. At the time when I've been blocked and clearly nothing was for me anymore, I was in kind of the same situation where I was like, okay, I feel blocked. I don't know where to go from here now. What can I do? If I can't find a location, what can I do? But you know, you have to keep telling yourself that this option in front of you is not the only option, and also be persistent.
Believe in yourself.
Exactly, believe in yourself. Don't listen to other people, you know, because sometimes they don't know the whole story. They don't know exactly what you're trying to do. So you need to be your number one believer, your number one fan. Always, you know, just tell yourself, I will do this, and it doesn't matter who's going to block me, as long as it's a legal activity, you're doing something good. Make sure you just, you know, don't worry about what other people say. And if there are obstacles, try to find ways around it. Try to, you know, I'm not saying try to get your way, but if it's something that you want to do, then, you know, don't listen to other people. Even if they don't believe in you, there will be other people that believe in you. Just find the right people to be around, and always trust in yourself.
One of the best advice I've received is from my dad, and he was like, you need to believe in your full potential, because if you don't believe in the 100% and you believe in 90, someone else will believe in 90 maximum. Yeah. So if you believe in 100, that's where other people will go too. And I think that's something that like sticks with me and resonates with what you're saying. It's like, you just have to go for it, and other people will follow. The right people will follow. Yeah.
I think, you know, there's a lot of noise out there in the world, especially nowadays. Different people are focused on different things. And some people might not see things from your perspective. And especially nowadays, you know, nowadays people believe in all sorts of different things. And it's so important to just, you know, be in the same track that you've set out to be. Don't get diverted. Get diverted if it is a better route, but try not to, you know, get distracted. Don't divert yourself just because someone says, oh, this might not be such a good idea. As long as you believe in yourself and you think that you're going the right way, then just keep going.
How many months have you been open now?
This is the third day of our third month. So
that's crazy. Yeah, because it has grown so much. Like your social media has like boomed. We talked about like your blockages and some little like moments that felt a little bit stuck, but what has been a high?
Honestly speaking, I've just been running at like 200 miles per hour. I haven't had a day to even sit down and think, oh my God, what have I achieved? What have I done? I would say a really big high for me is the opening day. Not gonna lie, it was a very special day for me. It was so lovely. It's like me giving birth to my baby at last. You know, everybody coming here, celebrating the opening, seeing what I have been building, what I've been working on for the last year. It was very special because it's, for me, like, you know, the final kind of dream to reality moment where I'm like, wow, this is what I've been working for, and this is for real happening.
So you've kind of like alluded to having like, to being an introvert and having like two different personalities. How is it to be an introvert in a job that's so like customer facing?
I have to be outgoing. I have to be that bubbly person behind the till. So I switch on my outgoing, bubbly self when I'm, you know, serving customers, because I actually enjoy meeting new people. Don't get me wrong, I'm an introvert, but I love to learn from people. I love to hear what people have to say. So it's really nice to be behind the counter, serving customers, seeing, you know, what they liked about their visits. You know, it's always nice to ask. So yeah, that's my, you know, very bubbly personality when I'm serving customers. And I have an office downstairs, so sometimes when it gets too much, I just quickly run downstairs. I tell my colleagues, please cover the till for me. I need to do some other business stuff, which is responding to emails, making phone calls. And those times I'm not so bubbly, especially talking to, you know, some suppliers, or talking about prices, talking about paying bills. Not so bubbly anymore when I have to pay people. But yeah, I try to balance them for where I need, for the situation as well. Can't be really bubbly and outgoing when you're trying to talk about something serious. So I try to manage my two different personalities.
And how do you like fill your cup back up? Do you like come home feeling like a bit drained?
Oh yes.
What tips do you have for someone who's maybe like feeling the same way?
That's a very good question. And I started meditating a while back since a year ago, when things started getting very serious. Things are, you know, going the right direction, and there are just days where everything becomes too much, everything feels too much. You're overwhelmed, there's 500 things in your brain, there's even more things on your to-do list. And I think it's important to sometimes take a breather, take even 10 minutes for yourself. You know, you can easily scroll through your phone for 10 minutes and it'll be like, 10 seconds gone. And I just, by chance, I started meditating. This sounds very funny, but one day I just came across this guided meditation video, and I thought, okay, what do I have to lose? I'm very stressed out. I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens. And I felt calm immediately afterwards. And I think it's just about, you know, taking that time for yourself, taking a moment, breathe, reconnect with yourself,
feeling present.
Exactly, being present, being here, and kind of stop just for 5-10 minutes, thinking about what you need to do, thinking about your to-do list, and just be here now.
And another thing for me that works really well is like going outside in nature. Like, it's weird, but you can feel so drained, and you go outside, I know, you sit by a tree, and then you feel like energy is like
I can relate so much, because especially recently it's been so nice and sunny. I try to go outside where I can, and this is weird advice, but I really recommend it. When you go to a park or something, when you go on the grass, take your shoes off.
I do that.
Take a walk. Connect with the ground, and I feel like I am just like being an iPhone connected to the charger. And I suddenly feel recharged, and it's very weird, and I do get some weird looks from my friends and random people in the park because I'm just there taking my shoes off. But it really helps, and it just, I think being in nature, there is like a law of nature or something. If you connect with nature, being in nature for 10 minutes, it helps you eliminate stress, it helps you feel present and reconnect, and also recharge.
Another thing that we've spoken about before is like that sense of like achievement and achieving like your dreams. because you've achieved something that a lot of people would have wanted to achieve, which is like have a coffee shop. And there's, I think, a trend on like Instagram and TikTok of everybody being like, my dream is to open like a coffee shop and have a bookstore and like flowers in there. And I have a friend who also wants to do it. So do you feel a sense of like achievement from everything you've done now, or do you think you're an overachiever?
Good question. Very good question. So a lot of days I am lazy and I don't want to do things. And I think that's a big part of being human. You know, we can't be always on all the time 24/7. That's just not possible. Or you're just, you know, very special and you have that ability. If I have a goal in mind, I'll always give it my 150%, 200% because I chose to do this myself. Not saying I was super good in school or anything, because I wasn't. And I guess that was just, okay, I thought being okay in school was fine, was enough. But, you know, if I set out a task, for example, doing this, I definitely gave it my 200%. So I would say I'm an overachiever on things that I set my mind to do.
And so now, do you feel content, or are you like thinking of the big next thing?
Good question once again, because I think we talked about this before. Being content, it means, you know, you're happy with where you are and that you're happy in this moment. And I would say, yes, I am. I'm content with everything that I have now. I'm really happy that my dreams, my goals, my hard work has brought me to here now. But I wouldn't say I am content forever, because I do have big plans. I have plans in taking this job, taking this brand to different cities, different countries even. So I would say I'm always on the lookout for a new challenge.
I think the balance, because I can relate with that, I think the balance is like being very grateful for like everything you've done and everything you've achieved and where you are, and feeling present like throughout it. But also like being very motivated by where you want to go. I think it's very important to have a purpose. And important to be like, oh, what about like this big dream? Like, let's go there now that we've done this. But I think when you have gratitude and presence, it brings you like contentment along the way.
And it puts things into perspective, because I like how you put it, because, you know, if you don't have the gratefulness, or if you're not grateful for what you have achieved, and the only thing you're looking for is what's the next thing, looking into the future, then it's very hard to get lost in the grind, I guess, because a lot of people work very hard and they forget to take a moment and, you know, take it all in and realize what you have and being grateful for what you have. Because I read this somewhere that, you know, where you are today is what you wanted to be, where you wanted to be like a year ago, 10 years ago. So if I look back at even like 20-year-old Sarah, I would be very shocked and surprised that this is what I've decided to do. And I need to be grateful, because I never knew that I would be here now, and I don't know where I'll be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time. So always be grateful, and just keep working and seeing where life takes you.
And I like what you said about a lot of people work very hard, but it's like, what are they working hard for?
Exactly.
Is it for themselves? Like, what's the destination? What's your road? Like, are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for someone else? And then like think about it, because that's, again, what brings you purpose, I think.
Yeah, I really agree, because I know a lot of friends or ex-colleagues who work very long hours, and sometimes I want to ask them, like, are you happy? Is this the life that you chose for yourself? And I guess different people have different views on life. For me especially, that if I'm working very hard, it must be because it is taking me closer to my dream. It's taking me closer to where I want to be eventually, or at some point in my life.
In doing something today that is so different from kind of like your corporate background and what you started out doing, and different to what your parents are doing as well, I think. Did you ever feel like the imposter syndrome along the way?
So with imposter syndrome, I feel like it's almost, you know, thrown around a lot with women, especially. I don't know why. And I think being me, I try not to let that get into my head. I didn't even know about imposter syndrome until last year. And I feel like I'm a weirdly confident person, even though I'm quite shy, I'm quite introvert. I try to present that confident self when I'm out and about. Because I always try to tell myself, like I am where I'm meant to be. Everything I have now is a result of my hard work and what I have done leading up until this moment. So I never give myself the moment to think, oh, I am an imposter, I shouldn't be here, because I built everything I have. And like, I'm not saying this shop, but everything in life, you, other people, like, it's all the small decisions, all the small hard work, everything, all your decisions that led you until this point. So I don't think anybody should feel imposter syndrome, because this is where you're meant to be.
And you deserve it. Like, I think that's the feeling. It's like, you deserve what you've worked hard for. You deserved for this opportunity to be presented to you. And so I like your mindset around it, about being like, everything I did led me here. So why should I not feel like it's mine?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the same as, if you were having a baby, you wouldn't think, okay, this baby is maybe not mine, because it's your baby. Of course, like you nurtured it, you worked hard. So of course, like, I don't think anybody should feel imposter syndrome. Just believe in it with yourself.
If someone's listening and is like, okay, I kind of want to do a career change, I really like what Sarah's talking about, what's your advice to them?
My advice is to be very careful, be very cautious about, your plan, because, sometimes you overshare with your friends, and different friends might have different opinions. I would say only take advice from people that you would actually switch places with in life. For example, someone older, someone who's more accomplished. For example, for me, I didn't take advice. I didn't even tell my friends or family. I only told a small circle of people in my life that I could believe in and trust in about this project, because I think sometimes there's a lot of noise in life, a lot of different opinions, and it's very easy to get lost in different people's opinions. And especially if you're taking a big step, huge change in your own life, don't listen to other people, and always weigh up your costs and benefits, because if you're taking a huge step, huge change in your life, the number one priority is you. Whether this decision will make you happy. Are you going to live a happier, healthier, and more content and fulfilled life? Only you know. So one, be very cautious, weigh up your costs and benefits. Second, don't take advice from just anybody. Only take advice from people who mean well and who you see, okay, they are having a good life. I wouldn't mind changing my life with them. So chances are they've taken some good steps, good decisions in their life. So those are my two advices.
That's really good advice. And it makes me think of the saying that's like, be careful who you share good news with. And that's something that I think I heard someone in their speech say that's like stuck with me, because it's true. It's like, if you're so excited about something and you share it with someone who doesn't share that excitement back, it will make you a bit disappointed.
Exactly.
And it will like bring you down.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fake friends or jealousy around, especially nowadays. You have social media, you see other people living their best life. Some people sometimes will feel jealous, and a lot of people wish they could do something, or they wish they could also be brave enough to take certain steps. So I think it's very important to keep your success, or keep your, I'm not successful yet.
Well, you are.
I wouldn't say that. Maybe next time in a podcast. But I would just say, there's a Chinese saying that you should keep your plans quiet. If you tell people, it's not going to work out. And I think that's mainly because, people will want to give you unsolicited advice. People will try to stop you for various reasons, whether they are jealous, whether they just don't want to see you do well, whether they are genuinely concerned. I've been in that situation where, I've told about my business plan to, let's say, my family, and they're very conservative. They think that, I'm a girl, I should just stay in corporate where it's safe. I don't really have to work too much, where I don't have to stress too much. I just have a structured life, and that's it. And I know that they mean well, but sometimes, I'm on my own path. I don't have to live my life according to other people.
Another really interesting thing about Aguamiel is you know, there's this thing where like maybe don't start something with your family member or partner, and you did this
Yes.
with your boyfriend. Like,
Yes.
how has that been?
It's been a fun ride. I definitely, you know, can relate to that saying, because mixing business and pleasure is quite complicated because, you know, when you go to work, you can kind of go home and disconnect completely.
Yeah.
But with us, we are together all the time. So it's good and bad because you can constantly bounce ideas off each other, whether that's like 2 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. in the morning. If I have a plan or if I have an idea, I can always shout it out before, you know, it's lost in my head.
Yeah.
And also it's very good because we complement each other in terms of our skill sets. So he's a chef, so he's very good at, you know, the kitchen side of things. Whereas me, I can't even cook myself a dinner without poisoning myself. So we complement each other very well. There are times where, you know, you have to have tough conversations where, you know, I have to say, okay, we need to be a bit better on this side, or we need to improve here. And sometimes, you know, those tough conversations are hard to say to your close, you know, friends, circle, boyfriend, parents. You know, people take criticism in different ways. And as humans, we're not usually accustomed to taking criticism, especially from a professional way from your girlfriend or boyfriend. So it has been a learning curve, but I would say that we complement each other so well.
It's like a roller coaster.
Exactly, it's a roller coaster, and I'm really glad to have him by my side because he really compliments me where I'm lacking in skills. So, for example, I can't cook, and he cooks. He makes everything here. I really appreciate, you know, having someone on my team that I can fully trust and rely on, and I think that's a very important person to have in your team.
And who's part of the team now? So it's you, your boyfriend Bernie.
So I would say we're a family enterprise now. So it's me, my boyfriend, and my dad. So we are 3 full-time people here all the time.
How did your dad like join the team?
Well, long story short, it was very hard to hire, especially, you know, after Brexit. It's very hard to hire in London, especially. So I kind of communicated that problem to my dad. And at the time he was free earlier this year, and he said, look, I'll help you guys, and let's see where that goes. And I've just trapped him in my shop now. He's not allowed to leave.
That's so sweet.
Yes, it creates a very easy environment for me to manage because I think everyone on this ship is rowing in this exact same direction. Nobody's having any kind of second thoughts or, you know, having any thoughts of slacking because they can't. So it's a very huge blessing that I have right now, that I have people really trustworthy, reliable to work with me, and that takes a huge headache off of my plate because imagine managing a shop and also making sure your employees are all, you know, working to their best potential. So I'm really happy with the team I have right now.
And trust, like you said earlier, like
trust is very important, and it is, especially you're just starting up. Right now we're just past the second month, so it's so important to have, you know, not have to worry about whether this person is going to come on time today. Is he going to show up even? Because we've had people that we've, you know, been trying to interview and they just didn't show up. So managing people is a very difficult and unexpected area of business. My biggest lesson right now is that people are huge problems. It's very hard to manage people. Everyone has their own mind. Everyone has their own, you know, thoughts and the way they go about things. So people are hard to manage, but you just have to learn that skill where you can try to get on the same page, try to explain your viewpoints in a way that they can see it as well. Try to be, you know, all rowing in the same direction because, you know, if we're not going the same way, then what are we doing? And secondly, it's just, you need to be very good at adapting to different situations.
Adapting is very true. And I think when you manage people, whether it is like a coffee shop or the corporate world or anything, it's like almost like it has nothing to do with you and them. So like everybody has different personalities. You might have a team with like 3 people with different personalities, and you need to adapt your style like accordingly. Maybe this person needs a lot of freedom to thrive. Maybe this person needs like a lot more check-in. So it's like, yeah, you just have to constantly adapt and I think be open to feedback.
Exactly.
And then being like, okay, well, I'll do better next time.
Yeah, because everyone's different, so you can't, have a one size fit for all kind of thing. Because I know myself, I am not the type of person where you have to micromanage. If you're gonna micromanage me, I will just not be able to do anything, because I will rebel, even if I know this is the right thing to do. If you're micromanaging me, I will rebel and I will quit. So
You've warned
firsthand, I understand how important it is to tailor your approach to different people with different personalities.
Across the road, there's some building work. So if you hear a little bit of a sound, it's because they decided to be a bit loud today.
Choice of being in London.
But you hear that every day.
Yes, I'm used to it.
What's a life lesson that someone has given you, or like a piece of advice that's really stuck with you?
So I would recommend only taking advice if you were going to take advice from someone that you would switch places with in life. I meet a lot of different people nowadays, and I'm in business, so I feel like everybody feels obliged to give me some sort of opinion or advice
that reflects them more than you.
Exactly. And then sometimes it puts you down, it sometimes makes you doubt yourself, and we don't want that.
Second question is, what's a lesson you thought you learned but actually you hadn't?
I really thought I learned how to take time for myself, take breaks, relax, rest, but life gets in the way sometimes, and this is a lesson. I thought, okay, I thought I knew how to take time for myself, thought I knew how to take breaks, but clearly not yet.
I can relate with that, because I think when you're so passionate about what you do, you don't mind doing it every day, and that's okay. But it's so important to take breaks even from things you're passionate about, because then it fuels you back, energy back up to be able to give even more. So yeah, I completely resonate with what you're saying. When was the boldest time you followed your heart?
That question brings me back to a lot of different turning points in my life. Everything I set out to do, I always try to be my boldest self. I always try to give it my all. So every time I decide on I'm going to do something, it's always as passionate and as bold as last time, because I believe that, if you're not giving your best self, your best 100%, or even 200%, and not being bold and not believing yourself, then what are you even doing? Like, you're wasting your own time. So you need to be bold in every single decision, whether that's me quitting my job, starting a business, whether that's, moving to another country. I think it's very unique to young people, especially. We have that sense of, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the consequences. I'm not scared of what's going to happen. The boldness you're talking about. So it's important to give it that same energy every time.
Yeah, or even like, I am a bit scared, but it feels right. Like, I need to do it. So I'm going to be bold and get away from the fear and still do it.
Yeah, because if you're not bold, what are you going to have? Regrets. And you're just going to keep thinking, I wish I did this. I regret not doing this. Don't do that. Don't let that be you.
And who was the last person to inspire you?
I would say I'm inspired by, everyone who's out there hustling, who's out there working on their dreams, working their socks off. I never appreciated how much hard work it takes to go into different things. And now I'm like, wow, everyone who's a small business owner, hustling, doing their, whether they're creative. I have friends who are in the creative industry, working a lot and maybe sometimes not seeing results, sometimes seeing results. I'm just honestly constantly inspired by everyone who's living life true to their dreams. Everyone working, everyone hustling, making their dreams a reality. It inspires me so much when I see other people, just pursuing their dreams, doing what they always wanted to do, because I think, once again, you have only one life. If you don't live life to your truest self, to your dreams, then whose life are you living?
Yeah, no, I agree. Completely agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
being
having
here
me.
right before you're opening soon as well.
Yes, soon, yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I feel very like empowered, and I feel like this was a really good empowering conversation. If you want to follow Aguamiel, what's your handle?
Aguamiel.ldn on all social platforms.
Amazing. Follow Aguamiel. Subscribe, rate this podcast as well, but subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. And yeah, see you next time.